He's asking how much role the record company's playing right now in a lot of this stuff. If they've got money invested in it, they're playing a role. But the problem is once you sign to it, let's say they came to my show, they loved what I had to see. I really didn't have an online presence yet. I wasn't really touring. I had couple good songs and things like that. Now I'm in a whole different room in that building. The discussions that they're having about singles and launch dates and record dates, I'm not involved in that conversation. So I'm basically an employee of the radio station, or the record company. They're going to give me a little bit of money, and they're going to invite me to the parties, and I get to show up as my name on the roster, and then all this stuff that's going on with these other artists is going on. So what I want to be is the artist that they go see because I invited them out to one of my sold-out shows. They're seeing I'm selling merch like crazy. I'm constantly, week after week, leading in downloads in my region. They love a couple of the songs that I have, and they're fighting over which one will be a single. I'm in a whole different room than this guy. So what I'm saying is, don't wait to be discovered. Don't introduce yourselves to them until you have the ability for them to say, we love you, we got to get you and your music out right now. David Nail sat from 20 years of age to 30 years of age, signed to a record deal. It wasn't until his producer went, recorded the record on his budget, and came to them and then said, look, give us a chance. We did this, we did that. Now he could say he was signed to a label. Woo, going to Tin Roof, I'm signed. But nothing happened. You talk to David right now, it was the worst 10 years of his life. He would have much rather been out. But see, when you're signed to a label, you don't control what you put up on the internet. You don't control a lot of things anymore. You now sign yourself over to them. So we're not telling anybody here not to go after a record deal. We're saying prepare yourself and go after the right record deal.
Take all the no's away.
Yeah.
Things that you can't control, that he's mentioned. The development, the social media, the website, the songs, the touring. All these things, as an artist, you can totally develop. You can write your own blogs. You can. There's enough students here and creative people. You can get your own photography done for close to free. You can control and run your own business, and you need to understand that it is a business.
Sarah Buxton did a video for $48 from In My Window or whatever that song was, and it was on GHC and CMT. And there were independent artists who had nothing going on in their career, spending $80,000 on a video not getting played at all.
Yeah.
Kind of nuts. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got a question about distribution. We got a little EP we just put together about 5 days. We got it back at the printers about 5 days ago. And we got it on Reverb Nation. And Reverb Nation has this deal where they'll sign you up with about 40 retail outlets for like $59 a year. And then CD Baby does physical and digital. And then there's a local company called 30 Tigers, which will do digital and physical. I'm just kind of like perplexed which one we should go to. I was wondering what your feedback would be on that. What's your recommendation?
Well, I know all three of those companies, and it depends on when they say 40 outlets for you, why wouldn't that outlet be carrying CDs they think they can sell? That's why a lot of people...
outlets.
No, he says digital and physical.
Yeah, well, Reverb Nation doesn't do physical.
Okay.
I even emailed them to verify that, and they emailed me back.
Yeah, all they're going to do, go to like CD Baby or TuneCore. They're going to send it into iTunes for you.
Right.
But that brings me to a point on iTunes. 30 Tigers is a Sony Red distributed company. David Macias, fantastic guy. All these people can put your music. It's easy to get music out in the marketplace now. TuneCore is probably one of the best and has great customer service. But here's what you have to be careful of. Once you put something out, depends on what your goal is. Let me rephrase that. If you don't have any goals whatsoever of getting a record deal, if you're an independent artist, then put your stuff up on iTunes. As soon as you put your music up on iTunes, I can now go see how relevant you are. So I'm going, wow, because most what happens is everybody gets so excited they got something on iTunes, that's what they put on their website, buy my music on iTunes. And then I call Big Machine Records, and I say them a lot because I work with them and I have access. I'll say, hey Kelly, I found this artist I really like. I see they have a single out. Can you tell me how many songs they've sold? She comes back and says 13. Next. I move on. Another problem that you're going to run into, and why I discourage iTunes before you're ready, how have any one of you had any success getting iTunes on the phones to have them send you the contact information of the person who bought your music? What about Amazon? Any luck? You're going to promote people to go someplace to purchase your music, and you have no way of saying thank you and building a relationship with that person that bought your music. There are so many ways you can do it now. So many ways. Through PayPal, we've proven it. So what my suggestions are, go ahead and get it out there. I mean, it's not a big deal, but don't plaster it all over the place that it's on iTunes. Let somebody happen to find it because maybe they played their music and yours popped up as also might like.
Yeah.
So what you're recommending is, like, say, I choose CD Baby. They'll do physical and they'll do digital, and they'll put me on out there. Just pick somebody like that.
Yeah, and the physical stuff, you've got to be realistic about, Walmart only carries the songs that are in the top 40 because they don't make as much money off CDs, and there's more room for plasma TVs now. I mean, it's even harder for the major labels to get distribution on their products right now.
More people are listening
physical
to.
at our gig.
That's where your physical sales will come
absolutely.
from. And then what you'll want to do is, if you have yourself registered as a label, you'll want to contact SoundScan because you can send in, they're called venue sheets, every Thursday. So if you sell 100 CDs at a show, there's going to be a sheet that has a number that SoundScan gives you, and the venue person will write down, yes, they sold 100, you fax those in, and you'll get credit for them. So if you start moving a lot of discs at a lot of shows, I mean, you heard people say, yeah, I sold 40,000 out of the trunk of my car. Okay, great. Why does your car still look like crap? A lot of people will tell you anything. That's why we're now going and justifying whatever it is that you tell us. If you told me you sold, scanned is the word they use. If you tell me you scanned 65,000, like I got, Doak sent me a thing the other day from a gal that says she scanned 65,000 downloads, and all the radio stations she's going to are nothing. None of us have ever heard of her. I went back on every chart to see if I'd heard of her. So I emailed and said, hey, can you go tell me how many this title's really done? So be careful about what you're saying you've done, because those of us, before we invest our time, energy, or money in you,
I'm gonna check.
we're going to do our homework. Yes, sir.
I really admire y'all's insight, and I was going to ask if either of y'all are currently mentoring anyone, and what would it take for somebody who's looking for a mentor in the booking promotion?
You would have to talk to him about the booking world.
Mm-hmm.
What I have is I have a website that I've built that people pay to be involved in, and I give more away than I know what to do with. I've had a guy argue with me today that I wasn't charging enough, but I explained to him that there's a lot of stuff going on in this town. So first things first, you need to go to the website, watch the videos. After the third video, you may think I'm a jerk off. This may have impressed you here today, but get to know me over a little bit of time. I can really piss you off. Ask Maddie.
I can vouch. I've gone and watched the videos. It's a lot of great information that
It's just
every
one of those
artist
things. We
needs
just
to
don't have
know.
the time. Unfortunately, we would love to. It's like every artist that says, hey, would you be willing to work with me on a one-on-one basis? I only have so many hours in the day, so I limit that to a certain number.
Exactly.
But what you need to do is you need to get tied in and find out where we're hanging out.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And eavesdrop.
And if
Just
you
get
feel,
in and start it. Be one of us.
Yep.
Not as much mentoring, but be one of us. If he's at Solid, you need to be at Solid.
Well, I mean, the reason I asked is I have a group that I've already booked this about 10 dates, and then I've booked other bands 4 dates just in the past month and a half.
That's great.
Things are going really quickly, so I'm just looking for.
Shoot me
Then
an
what
email.
you need to do is you need to get on the phone. His world will help you faster than mine. I'm going to teach you the actual business, but your ball's already rolling, so come sign up for my stuff, watch the free videos and stuff, do whatever you can to connect with him afterwards, and be careful, because if these artists in here hear that you're booking, they may come running in your direction too, so you won't have time to mentor with us. You'll be booking all these guys.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, that's easy. There, yes, sir.
A question about the charts. I hear a lot of people say, well, I'm number 1 or I'm number 15 on the so-and-so chart.
There's-
Sometimes you look them up, they don't seem to mean anything. So
Yeah.
which charts do you...
Billboard and Media Base are the only two charts that matter, and SoundScan. That's somebody's going to tell you, I'm on the new music country, blah blah blah, and I was the #1 new artist at the new country awards or whatever. It's purchased.
What about Reverb Nation? Nation, don't they have like a rating for?
Reverb Nation rates based on the amount of widgets that you use on Reverb Nation, because you can go look and see who their top person is and they're crap.
Yeah.
Or they live in a mobile home and all day long all they're doing is pasting their widgets all over the place, and you're out there making great music and can't get up the charts. It's all about how many of their widgets you're using is how you rank up that Reverb Nation chart. You know, the chart you want to rank up on, SoundScan.
Yeah.
That's the chart, that's the ultimate chart that you want to be on. Yes, sir.
If you don't live in town, but you go back home and there's a place that draws a big crowd, they sell about $18,000 on a Friday night to see you play for a bar owner. How can you get that out? And would that be important to someone like Tim?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
What would you suggest somebody do? Okay, man, I'm selling beer, selling alcohol. How do you verify that, or how can they?
The act is the one that's bringing that amount of people?
Yeah.
Would you call the bar owner?
Yeah, I'll call the bar owner and say, is this true? Are they selling this amount of alcohol? He's going to say, hell no. Or he's going to be like, yeah, you know, wow, what's up?
Then you can't have them. I have a book for the
Yeah,
next
yeah,
5
exactly.
Fridays.
And you'll learn as you guys call it, some of you may already see, the venue owners are very, very direct, they're very short, so they're going to get right to it and say, yeah, they're great, we love those kids, they're developing. Why? They want to help the artists that do really well just as much as anybody. I get more acts passed to me from venue owners that love and develop artists than I do from anywhere else.
Also, too, and somebody brought up Reverb Nation, and I'm glad you brought that up. I got a phone call this week. Those of you that have been coming here forever know that I preach the list. It's all about your email list. I don't care about the other things. That's where we go get people to drive them to your website where we can start building a relationship. There's a young kid, Jacob Whitesides. If you guys look him up, it's with an S. 97,000 Twitter followers, tons of YouTube. He was working with this guy out of Canada who had worked with Austin Mahone and Justin Bieber. And this guy had agreed to help him build his social sites. He's got a great platform in place for building these things. He really makes you work. So what he did is he had all the usernames and passwords of this kid. What people don't understand is that Tennessee, New York, and California are minor protected states. So Jacob's only 15 years old. So you cannot enter into a contract in these states without presenting yourself before the judge. So this guy was getting them all this stuff, doing all these things. So the guy was trying to get the mom to sign this 50% contract. Yeah. And the mom called me and said, hey, guys, that don't sign a fee. By the way, you can't. You know, you have to go before the judge. Because this woman wouldn't sign it, this guy went and locked them out of every single one of his social accounts. Trying to get a hold of YouTube to prove that you're you, trying to get a hold of Twitter to prove that you're you. All this different stuff was going on. He went into absolute panic mode because he had no way of communicating with his fans. Now they had to go send letters and legal letters and all this stuff. So here's the thing, 2 things that I want you to take from this. Don't give people your usernames and passwords, especially to your Gmail, whoever they are. You want to make sure that you have access. Okay, so if you're working with somebody and you've never met them or they're over the internet, it's a little different with the people that I'm working with because they can drive to my house. This guy's in Canada, he's here. The problem is that Jacob had no way of notifying his fans that his accounts had been hijacked. Had he built an email list, he would have been able to send an email to all of his people to tell them what's going on. If YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, they can't be your only form of communication with your fans. If you take anything from this, build your website, have your email list, and don't take advantage. You got to have a place for them to be able to communicate with you.
I was working with an artist that had, I think there's altogether between Twitter and Facebook, it's over 500,000 fans, right? So-called fans. And can't consistently move over 50 to 100 tickets in any market. So just to show you, those numbers don't always mean anything.
Yeah,
Exactly
they
what
could be
he's
bought.
saying.
they can be bought.
Yeah, so do make it organic. Do stay in touch with your fans.
Be real
Build the
about it. You
email
want a
list.
career. You know, if you, like I always tell people, if you want to just quick shot at fame and stardom, do a sex tape. It'll go viral. You might get a fragrance and a reality show out of the deal. It's worked for a couple other untalented folks, but you know, if you want a career, it's going to take work.
Absolutely.
If you want this to be your business, treat it like a business. You need education, get education. You need vocal lessons, get vocal lessons. You need singing and songwriting, go to classes and learn how to take those things. I'm right now, I'll just tell you guys, I was on vacation, I spent about $6,000 in the last 2 months becoming a better speaker and building a better website and making better videos for my students and learning how to communicate with people. Because if you're going to invest in me, I better also be investing in me to make sure that what I'm delivering you is quality product. Or why the heck should you even listen to me?
Or why should we get involved in you if you're not investing in yourselves?
Yeah, if you went to my website and it was crappy, and you went to my Facebook and it was crappy, and you went to my Twitter and it was crappy and didn't mesh with what I'm teaching you, you'd go, hypocrite. Why am I going to go? But if you look and you're constantly seeing my Twitter numbers grow, or getting tweets from me, or seeing Facebook posts, or I'm bringing you in and we're doing videos together, you know, I had fun. I just posted a new video that's going on the new membership site. You know, Maddie and I she wanted to learn how to send out emails through her MailChimp. I'm like, hey, let's come over, we'll do this. And we did it, and it was awesome, you know. Taylor Edwards wanted to know how to get more Twitter followers. So that's what you got to be careful too, is if you ask me for something, I'm going to end up taping you, and it's going to end up becoming a study program for somebody. So be ready to do that.
And if you don't ask, you don't get. Don't sit around and go, well, I should probably already know that. Ask.
No, I'm the dumbest person you'll ever meet.
I ask every day people that I've never met before.
But I'm a 3-year-old. I'm like, why? How come? Why? How come?
Exactly.
I'm that guy. Any other questions? It's kind of quiet. Yes, sir.
So that email list seems like a really good idea. It's just that a lot of people I know are very hesitant to put anything about themselves online because, you know, nowadays a lot of people don't impersonate you or fraud or a lot. I mean, there's multiple reasons why somebody would not want to put information on an email or online. And it's not like, I know a lot of people, a lot of friends, some of these people, exactly for that reason. They don't want to put their email and put a lot of information or something.
Then get them to a show and take their physical cash. You know, you can't force everybody to do everything. You know what I mean? A lot of people are like, hey, but my friends aren't on Facebook. So, somebody's friends who might like your music are.
Yeah.
So you have a presence. What you want to do is, all of your audiences are going to be different. So if I say, you got to spend 2 hours a day on Facebook, and you're like, Rick, my fans aren't on Facebook. I'll say, great, where are they? You tell me, I'll say, great, that's where you need to spend 2 hours. You know what I mean? If you can't invest 2 hours in your business every day, you shouldn't even be in this business. Find out where your people are hanging out. If they're hanging out locally, then be there locally, handing out download cards, handing out music, whatever it is, you got to go find them. Don't expect them to find you. Not everybody's going to like your music, but you know what? You don't need everybody. What is there, 88 billion people or whatever? There's no way. It's not going to happen. I don't know anybody who sold 88 billion records yet. So not everybody's going to like everybody. Yes, ma'am.
As a songwriter, could you give me some advice? How should I approach the record companies out there?
Well, it depends. Are you trying to pitch your songs?
Yes.
Okay. You need to hook up with a publisher. If you're self-published, you need to hook up with one of these pitching groups. You need to find out. I would go to NSAI. Do you have your artists, or your, are you ASCAP or BMI or CSAC? Okay, you have a rep at ASCAP. Their job, just so you know, and anybody who's gone through this, is when they feel you're at a place to start introducing you to publishers and labels, they'll do it. So if they haven't done that yet, don't take it personal. Keep working harder. It just, I have a rule. I have the home cell phone numbers of every major label president in this town. Most people know that I've worked for a lot of them, so they're like, oh, I'll come work with Rick, and he'll take me to this guy, and this guy, and this guy. So I went to them, and I said, what are the rules? You know, people are always going to say, hey, would you hand this to Scott? Would you hand it to this? They gave me simple rules, and it's funny because it all came from the same 3 guys. If you like it, keep it. If you love it, we want to hear about it. So make me love you. Make whoever it is that you're dealing with, because I tell everybody here, If I go to your website and I see you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and you come and we sit down and you show me that you can play in a conference room for 5 people and be excited because that's what radio tour is going to be like, and you're selling product and you're doing this, I will physically pick you up, put you on my back, and take you into every single frickin' record label in town because I want them knowing that you did what I taught. It's very important to me to be able to walk you into these labels. It's very important to me that Callie Rohde, who played this stage 2 months ago, she did the songs the way I told her to do the songs because I'd spent time with her. She's been inside the blueprint. This first step for her was to get a publishing deal. So what do? I invite a publisher. I say, play these 4 songs this way because it will wow people. She sat up here and she busted off into this a cappella deal, had everybody's attention. Then she showed how ripping great she was on the guitar. And the publisher that I invited said, can you be at my office tomorrow morning at 9:30? She went to his office at 9:30. He says, we're in the middle of a sale right now, but I'm going to do everything I can to sign you to your first publishing deal. So please, don't sign with anybody else. I want to sign you to this publishing deal. Now here's the irony. She was just rejected into the songwriter program at Belmont, and she's going to go to Belmont as a business major with a publishing deal. Isn't that funny? She couldn't get into the songwriting program. What the hell's a major in songwriting guarantee you anyway, except the fact that you walk out of school with $120,000 of debt? That's about what it guarantees you.
Piece of paper.
Yeah. The guy who's running the program doesn't even have a frickin' publishing deal. And this girl who was told you're not good enough for the songwriting program is going to be signed to a major publishing deal, which I think is pretty ironic. So all that I'm saying is you do what you've got to do to make yourself better. We'll open up those doors for you. We really will. Because ultimately what I want in the music industry blueprint, I'll tell you, here's my business plan. My business plan is that every person that walks into the labels right now, because up to this point, let me back up a second, there's been no place for people to go. Will and Doak had an idea a few years ago, MusicStartsHere.org. We got together, we heard the same idea. So I went around town, I said, there's got to be a place. We spend so much time in this town, I'm going to get on my soapbox here for a second, so much time in this town working on the song, working on this, but nobody ever works on the artist. But we expect them to go deliver it. And then when it doesn't work, it's the artist's fault. The artist didn't pick the single. The record company picked the single. Nobody lost their job, but the artist lost their deal. So after I watched this cycle happen over and over and over again, I'm like, screw it. I'm going to fix it. I'm going to make a place where people can come get information. And we're not for everybody. We're really not. Not everybody in this room is going to get a record deal. But what I'm going to try to do is make sure that if that door opens where that record company calls you, you're prepared. You know what they're going to ask. You know what you're going to be able to do. Because then it's up to them. Then it's up to them really liking your music and liking your style. But there's no way that I ever want anyone in this town to call me and go, wow, man, one of your blueprint people showed up and they sure weren't prepared. Not on my watch. That's why I don't call on your behalf until I know you're ready. Because when I call and say you're coming, they know what to expect. They know that you're going to be able to perform live. They know that you're going to be able to perform acoustic. They know that you're going to be able to sell records. They know that all this kind of stuff's in place. So what we did is I'm going to these labels and I'm saying, hey, when people come to your office and you really have no place to send them, give them my card, let them tell them, go get this free video series from this guy. Then I want them to call me and to say, hey, who's next? Who you got in the blueprint? We got a couple spots that are coming up. Who's next? Who's ready? Who's been working hard? Who is prepared?
And that's exactly, as a functioning business
Yeah.
in today's market, what they have to have. Something that is ready to go now. They can't wait 2 and 3 years.
They're going to call him. Who's doing 100 dates a year right now that's selling hard tickets?
Exactly.
That's what they want to know. That's what they're going to do. You had a question?
Yeah, I was just going to say, getting a publishing deal is great, but in some ways, getting a full publishing deal is, if you're going to have a publishing deal, getting a publishing deal.
Getting any kind of publishing deal right now depends on what you need. If you need money, you're not going to get it. A lot of you aren't going to get co-publishing deals right now because you haven't had hits. So those aren't being offered as much right now. Yes, co-publishing deal is better than a publishing deal, But right now, you have, unless you have backed up hits, I mean, there are hit songwriters with past #1 records right now that can't get an $18,000 draw from a publishing company.
I mean, and also if the publishing company does a great job and draws out some ways that you wouldn't do by yourself, and that's definitely worth it. But otherwise, you're giving the publishing company 50%, and
Is that a question, or are you trying to make a statement? Okay.
If you did it all by yourself.
But they can't hear your statement, so come up here if you're wanting to make, what he's saying basically is better to have a co-pub than a pub because you're keeping 50% of your publishing. The reason I'm saying that to you is because they can't hear you in the back, so right now we're just sitting here like this looking at you. So you can, with the networking you can make that, but yeah, it's better to have a co-pub than a publishing deal, but right now you are all your publishers, and you better get your songs registered right, you better make sure that you're taken care of. Danny, you had a question?
Yeah, this is about sort of a different demographic than most of the people that are here, but I've had situations with, I've worked with several bands that are Rock and Roll Hall of Fame bands, and they've recorded my materials, I've been in the band, blah, 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 and I've gone to websites for these various acts and interacted with them, and there are people that are raving about my songs, and just unsolicited, they're talking about my songs, and when I come and mention, oh, we're so thrilled to have you here. And I've done things like David Hooper's show. I did a whole 45 minutes on one song that I wrote for one of these bands. And I've done those things sort of nationally. And like just pulling a penny out of the pocket of people that sort of have a little older demographics seems to be like nearly impossible. People rave about it. And I would suddenly try to get in there. Oh, well, hey, like that thing, I did my solo album. Nothing, crickets.
Well, you need to start asking them questions. You need to do a survey. You need to start asking them, what will get you to buy? What will get you to pull the trigger? I love the fact that you like my music. Well, I can't pay my rent on likes. What's going to get you to buy? Don't be afraid to ask people. I mean, ask. Just say, look, ma'am, I appreciate the fact that you like this, but I need $5. Baby's got to eat. So, is it a shirt? Is it, ask them. Is it, some people your age aren't into the digital download yet. So you may have to be the physical guy. You may have to physically mail CDs. The old licking of the stamp and putting it in the pouch. So understand who your audience is, and whatever delivery method they need, deliver it that way. But don't be afraid to ask. Okay? I'm always asking, is this cost too much? Is this price just right? Is this happening? Speaking of which, we had talked about last week, or last month, the accountability groups that I'm going to be starting with 10 artists, and everybody gets together, and some of you have shown interest in that. A lot of people were traveling, so I want to do it when we have 10, and I needed to build the website this weekend, and those of you that are in the website will be getting a new little email with a username and password, because this thing is freaking awesome, if I have to say so myself. It just made for better, you'll see when you get it. Those of you that have not signed up to get the free video series, go to musicindustryblueprint.com and give us, just give me your email and name, tell me where to send it. We'll send that off to you. I want to say thank you to him very much. Make sure you reach out to him by email. What's your email?
Tim at artisteventsnashville.com. That's ARTIST, events plural.
And Doak and I will make sure that we follow up on this. Don't make your first email to him as you're going to be trying to build a relationship. Hey, can you get me gigs? That's probably not a subject line that's going to get answered right now. Doak teaches that into the networking world. So we're going to have to roll out of here, but you guys can feel free to network on the sidewalk there. Thanks to everybody here at Two Old Hippies. Will, Doak from MusicStartsHere.org. We appreciate it. If you did not get your questions answered, please grab me as we're doing this, but we need to vacate the store here pretty soon. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.